G'day Slayers and welcome to Ol'Dirty 2019. You're in for an amazing lycra party this year. Now rather than try and take you through everything on the morning because it's going to be a little bit hectic, and let's be honest, you just want to jump into that, we thought we'd run you through a few of the boring bits now. From 10 AM to 11 AM we've got 4-piece glam metal band Power Stride that's turning things up to 11 and getting you rammed up for the lycra party. At 11 AM we're going to be rolling out. Now there's more than 500 of you, so don't be late for that. I'm not even kidding. Let's talk about the course, but before we do that, you're going to need a map. So reach into your fanny packs. Aside from the buff and a few other bits and pieces, you're going to find a map. Now in this map, we're going to show you all the details of how you get around the course. You'll notice in the corner of your map there's a QR code. You can use that to download the route in advance, or if you get lost, you can use that to navigate your way home at any stage. There's also some markers in terms of where the turn-off points are, so you can look at how far you've ridden for the day and you know exactly where you are on the course. There's also a gradient profile at the bottom. You know what that is, you know when the steep stuff's coming. Here's a clue, it's pretty early. So after a pretty cruisy rollout along the river, be aware of trail users, nice and chill there. We're gonna head up the high road, that's Surrey Road. Now that sucker's a little bit steep. There's sections, get this, that are above 20% on gravel. But the good news is, it's only short. And hey, it wouldn't be an Ol'Dirty without it, right? Now, once you get up to O'Shanassy, things chill out a little bit. You're just gonna take O'Shanassy out for about 20 Ks till you get to O'Shanassy Weir. It's really lovely. Make sure you take your phone, you get some good shots out there. From O'Shanassy Weir, it's a nice downhill cruise on really beautiful hard-packed gravel. Now that's gonna take you down to the lunch stop. Lunch is really special. We've got paella cooked up for you and it's ready to go. Not only that, the SRAM vans will be out there if you need any mechanical support. We'll have food and water for you thanks to Carmen's and thanks to Mother Nature, I guess, for the water. Now, from there, we've got a little paved section. It's only short, but you have to make sure that you stick to the left-hand side of the road because that's Woods Point Road. After Woods Point, you'll see that we turn off onto Brahms Road and then onto Lyrebird. Now this section is stunning. It's rolling G roads. It's so beautiful. You're gonna love it. After there, we get to Big Pat's Creek. Kind of a strange name for a suburb. Nice place though, you'll see it. This is also the point that if you've had enough of the ride, you can take a shortcut straight back home. Now that shortcut's not gonna be signposted. It's pretty straightforward. You're just gonna take Riverside Drive all the way back. But for those of you that are staying in for the whole thing, this is where things get really interesting. From Big Pat's Creek, you're gonna jump onto some single track and it's in the tall trees. It's really beautiful temperate rainforest. You're gonna love it. Wet, muddy, single track, lovely. Once we get off the single track, that's the hectic section. We'll talk about that in a moment, but Burns Road. Now Burns Road, you can see from the profile, that's the significant climb for the day. You're gonna be climbing for about 10 kilometers at about 4 to 5%. Sort of like the 1 in 20 or the Basin of Linda on dirt. Once you get to the top of Burns, you hit Mount Bride. Mount Bride's pretty cruisy, got a tiny little climb out of there, but then you got a stunning descent. Now, you want to be careful on that descent. It is an open road, so again, stick to the left. You'll be going fast because it's 7 to 8% and it's hard-packed gravel, so there's not too much to worry about. Just keep an eye out on any sort of gravel descent. You always want to be a little bit careful. You never know where there's a bit of stones kicked up, and just take it nice and chill. When you get to the bottom of Mount Bride, that's where we turn off for the second single track section of the day. This is a little bit gnarlier. It's narrow. For those of you that did Ol'Dirty out here last time a couple of years ago, we used this track as well, although it was more of a creek at that stage. And you're gonna find a lot of debris there. So there's log hops. You're gonna find that there's lots of sticks and bark and stuff to ride over. In fact, more of the time, you're actually riding on sticks than actual dirt. After that single track section, you're back on the paved road on Lala. It's a roll down to town and you're done. Now here's the thing about the finish. We're not actually finishing back at the event village. We want to meet you at the after party. So you're going to head to Little Joe's Pizza Cafe, which is in the main town, opposite the bakery. We'll see you there for a beer. Now let's talk about surfaces. So let's kick off with the river trail. What you're going to find here is a beautiful mix of river stones. It's generally fairly hard packed, so we're going to throw that in our bowl. Up next, the 20% climb up Surrey Road. Again, like it's a gravel road, a little bit dirtier. It's going to be hard packed and you're not going to slip around too much as you climb the steep climb there. When we get up to the double track of O'Shanassy, that's where we're going to encounter the real dirt for the first time. Here's a lovely organic mix that we found. It's really beautiful and smells delicious. So we chuck that in there, and just a sprinkling of grass clippings. Next up after O'Shaughnessy, we've got Road 18, Brahms and Lyrebird. Again, we've got like a really hard packed gravel mix. There's a bit of dirt in there. You're gonna find this fast and flowing. Into the mix that goes. Give it a little stir. Now once we get to the single track section, after Brahms and Lyrebird, this is where things start to get really dark and peaty. Once we turn off to Burns track, is it has just been resealed. So you're going to see two things that are quite interesting about it. Number one, these kind of nasty rocks that you usually find down at a railway. Now for the most part, it's hard packed. You can definitely find a line through there, or you can ride on the side of the road. But there are 4 100-meter long sections that you're just not going to be able to get through. Anyway, into the mix they go. Now the interesting thing about the end of Burns track is it's just being grated, so it really is some sticky peanut butter sort of stuff. So we chuck that in there as well. Now after Burns track, that's where we hit Mount Bright again. Mount Bright you're going to find, again, like a really hard packed gravel. Generally it's fairly fast flowing. You just have to be careful in some of the corners on the descent. And then finally onto the single track at the end. Now really this is less dirt and more leaf litter. In fact, you're going to think that you're just riding pretty much only on sticks. So in it goes. So what you're going to want to do is give that a really good mix around. Bung that in the oven at 180 degrees for 4 hours. Distill it down, and here's one we prepared earlier. Pop it into a handy container and off you go. So it's this variety of surfaces all mixed together, all blended into one event, which is what makes Ol'Dirty so special. We know you're going to love it. Get into it. See you out on the trail, fellas. This is so dumb.